Hi everyone, it's Rachel with Rachel Super Cute Creations, and we are going to start our craft with me. And I'm a little bit early tonight because I have some things that I need to do. So I just decided to go ahead and pop on, and that way those who are coming in at 6 o'clock, they'll be able to see part of it, but that way I can be on a little bit longer. So I hope everybody's having a great evening. As you jump on, please say hello. And we're going to play with napkins tonight. So I started and did some samples right here. And what I'm decoupaging over are my collage papers. So a lot of you have been asking me, what do you do with all of these collage papers? As I told you, I collage a lot. I collage on cards, just regular old index cards. And then I collage on scrap pieces of paper, recycled paper. So this you can see was just a recycled piece of paper out of my recycling bin. I accidentally printed too many Etsy slips. So I just decoupage right over this. And some old book pages, some glossy book pages that I typically don't use in my journals. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Joyce. Welcome, welcome. And so all these collage papers that I've been working on, you can see, I don't know if you can see this, but this is an old invoice that I received with something. And so I just kind of use those to collage with. So we're going to use up these collage papers that I have. These are the last ones that I have in my stash. So I'll definitely be making some more collage papers up. My daughter, she was played volleyball this weekend. So I always take a bag of stuff. And one of the things I'll be doing next time we go on a trip would be to take some of my collage papers or my junk so that I can make more collage papers. Okay, so when I decoupage, you can use Mod Podge, but I don't like to use that when I do my decoupaging. And the reason why is it's too thick for me to work with. So I use my own special concoction. And that concoction is Arlene's Tacky Glue and water. And I make it a consistency of, let's see, how can I explain this? It's very, very runny, okay? And I do that on purpose. And this is just a handmade little container that I got from the dollar store. I think you can get 4 of them for $1. And then I cut a sponge to put in there. I fill up the bottom with glue and water, and this makes the perfect collage medium. Now, if you're doing, this is also great if you're working with collage papers, because what you can do is you can, let me grab a little piece of collage paper here. Okay, let's say I'm going to collage with this. And if I'm working with small pieces, I can just touch the top of this like this, and I can put that collage piece right down. So it's another way to use it if you want to. I typically will use a brush with it. And then I use this to kind of set my brush on. Now you can Mod Podge on a lot of things. So this is a glassine bag. But we're going to start by working with this. So I am going to be selling some of my botanical, hi Julie, I'm going to be selling some botanical napkin kits. These are going to be, there's going to be 10 beautiful botanical napkins, and a lot of those we're going to use today in our crafting. So I'm going to grab some, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. All right, let me just grab a couple here. So if you've not worked with napkins, first of all, I recommend that you work with high quality napkins. The brands that I typically work with are, I'll tell you here, are the Michael Design Works ones. And these are about $6 a bundle. And I know that that's kind of expensive, but they decoupage beautifully on there. So that's why I decided to make up some packs, because people probably do not want to go out and spend $50 on napkins just so they can have a variety of napkins to do their decoupaging. All right, so there are 2 ply on here. These are 3-ply napkins. So you want to peel off both of these, and all you want is your thinnest layer. And the other reason why I use these napkins is because they are very well made. The ink does not run when you decoupage, and it's easy for the most part to get these backings off. All right. So the next thing I do is I kind of decide, where do I want this? And all of the Michaels ones, they have this little elephant. You can decoupage it on there, but I try not to, just because I don't care really for that. But what I do is I flip my napkin up, and I work in sections. So I see a lot of people will decoupage, and they'll decoupage the whole thing. I don't do that, and I'll show you why here in a minute. So, oops, let me get this going. All right, and so this will sometimes get a little bit thick. So I just add a couple of drops carefully of water. And then what I do is I'll flip over my sponge. All right, there we go. Because I want my consistency to be a little bit runny. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm using this is actually a kid's paintbrush that I was able to get at Meijer's. And I like it because it's durable for this type of Mod Podging. And what I do is I put on about 2 inches. I go down about 2 inches with my glue. And I have it all over my fingers. Goodness. All right. Okay. So then what I do is I decide where I want this to go. And I kind of fold up my napkin like this. And I decide, where do I want to place this? You have to kind of look. Now, I want to keep as many hummingbirds as possible on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up so that my hummingbird is on here. And I'm going to gently put this on here. And I'm just gently pressing so that I can not have any bubbles on there. Oh, wonderful, Anna. Well, this is another way you can use those. So then what I do is I take a majority of my glue off of this brush, because I don't like the outside of my napkin Mod Podge or decoupaged, I guess I should say, pieces to be really shiny and gluey and all that stuff. So I don't do that. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab some more glue. We're going to pull back, and we're going to do again about another 2 inches. So I'm just putting about 2 inches of glue on, setting my brush down, winding this up a little bit, giving it a little bit of tension, not much, a little bit of tension, and then I'm laying it down so I do not get wrinkles. This is sort of the way that I found that makes it easiest to not get wrinkles as I'm working with large sheets. Now, if I'm just doing, ripping out small pieces, you don't have to be as particular about it. And if you're careful, you can pull it back a little bit. So like I got some glue over past my 2-inch mark. And so for this part, I'll just finish gluing the rest of this, because I can manage getting it on here without. Okay, really making sure my edges are good. Pulling it a little bit tight towards me, not too much. A little hole right here, but I'm okay with that. I'm not sure how that happened. Just gonna pat that down. And the reason why I'm doing it like this is, notice if you had Mod Podge and you were patting this down, when you lift it up, that would stick to your hands. Hi, Linda. How are you? Welcome. So that's why I use this mixture, because I can play with it a little bit and not have it stick to my fingers. Okay. So now, once again, we're going to get off the majority of our glue, and we're just going to lightly brush over the whole thing, making sure that any of those bubbles that are not sticking down are down. Now, why do I do this? For those of you who have done napkin Mod Podging before, or decoupaging, if you just do a solid piece underneath it, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. But I want to show you up close what happens. Look at the depth that this gives when you have a collage piece underneath here. You can see some of the handwriting coming through. You can see all the different colors and tones, and it really looks like you've created a mixed media piece. Okay, so the next thing I do, and this is always sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, so bear with me, is I will take my metal ruler and I come as close as I can to the edge. I put pressure on it, and then I will just tear my napkin, the excess, off, because I don't waste any of this napkin. We'll use that in another piece. Carefully pull this off because it is a little bit damp. We'll come to this side, do the same thing. I'm putting some pressure on the edge, tearing up. And it's not perfect, that's okay. And then we'll do the same thing right here. All right. So we're going to set this. Isn't this napkin beautiful? Thank you. I just purchased my first load of Girl Scout cookies. That background looks stunning. Yeah, isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I'm going to let this go set to the side for a minute. We're going to do one more, and then I'm going to show you what I do with all of these pieces. Now, I'm going to pull this poppy one up. This is a smaller napkin. It's more like a cocktail napkin. So it's not going to cover all of this, but we're going to have some excess here. So I'll be able to fill it in over here. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to peel back. This is 2-ply, 1, 2. When you buy the high quality napkins, you get, it's easier to take them apart, guys, and you get a nice heavyweight napkin still to decoupage over that. And you can see this one. If you wanted to, would be great for a mixed media project because some of the ink came through on this. So you could decoupage that on a piece of paper for some additional texture. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to lay this right here. I'm going to line it up because what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it this way. So I'm going to grab my glue. And kind of stop right there. We'll get it started. I'm going to fold up my napkin. And this is the key, guys, if you don't want bubbles, is to do this step. I know it looks like it takes a little more time, but it really makes a big difference when you're doing decoupage. Oh, this is going to be really pretty. I didn't even know Girl Scout cookies were out right now, Linda. My favorite are the Thin Mints and the Samoas. All right. So I'm pulling this a little bit taut, kind of putting some pressure on it and laying this down to avoid as many wrinkles as I can. Now, if you see I didn't quite bring that glue over far enough, I can just go ahead and add some glue. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to smooth that down. And I'm getting a little off on the edge here. That's okay. Because when we go to trim these and make these into embellishments, I don't use all of it anyway. So if I get off a little bit, I don't worry about it. I don't panic. I'll just trim that off with my paper cutter. All right. Okay, so let's pull the rest of this down. Got a little wrinkle here, so I'm just carefully pulling it up. And you can really tell the difference when you use a high quality napkin, because if you were using a low quality napkin, it would rip when you go to pull it up off of that adhesive. Now I'm just carefully, see, and then I made a little hole right here, so that's okay. So if you make a hole or a tear, just get your brush wet, carefully pull up on it, get some of that glue adhere mixture underneath there, and then pull it the opposite way of where the pull was. And you'll never even know. What I'm using for my adhesive is a mixture, my own concoction. And that is Arlene's Tacky Glue. I use about a 3-to-1 ratio to Arlene's Tacky Glue in water. And that makes a beautiful textured decoupage medium. So I don't know if any of you are sports fans, but we're huge sports fans here in my household. My daughter's an athlete. We watch sports all the time. I just want you to know I am devastated about Kobe Bryant and his daughter. It's made me sick since we found out about it. I hear my husband still listening to it out there, and it breaks my heart that we have lost an amazing basketball legend, but even more so that we lost him and his daughter. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put this on here so that I don't see the lines. Yeah, I'm heartbroken, and my daughter is an athlete. We travel all over the country for her, and there's many a times that we have taken other athletes with us, and I just can't imagine. For those of you that haven't seen it yet, they were on their way to a basketball tournament today, and he took which was not uncommon for him to take his helicopter in because the traffic is so crazy out there. And another player and the other player's parent and his daughter were in a crash, and all 4 of them plus the pilot were killed. So it's just absolutely devastating. And I can't imagine being his wife, not only losing a husband, but also losing a child in the same day. And one of my children's friends. So anyway, please keep that family in your thoughts and prayers. Okay. Families, I should say. Isn't that beautiful? Look at those poppies. Oh, I love them. I love poppies. Okay. So I'm going to let these two dry a little bit, and we're going to work with a couple of them that I've already done. Let me put the lid on this. And do not leave a Mod Podge brush out to harden, because it'll ruin your brush. Always have a little cup nearby to throw it in, even just to keep it wet. All right, so the next thing I do, just get these out of the way here, is I take coffee dyed paper. So let's pretend that we've already Mod Podged this one. And what I do is I grab my coffee dyed paper and I glue it to the bag. And I like to use either Elmer's Extreme, or the permanent. They make a permanent craft glue. And I make sure that my edges are really good. Now, I could leave this. You could write on the back of this, and it would be fine. But I like my tags and my embellishments to be more along the lines of chipboard. Not quite as thick as chipboard, but have a nice weight to them. Now, cup your paper in the middle. If you're going to go from the middle out, because that will help with the air bubbles. Take my bone folder. Yeah, it's Mitzi. It's so sad. I mean, like I said, we take children all over with us. My daughter's been traveling since she was 7. So we've been traveling for over 8 years now, all over the country. And my child goes with other people, and you get up. I mean, I don't know, it hit home to me today because we got up yesterday morning and headed down to a travel volleyball game. And, you just don't think. And there's a lot of times that my husband takes my daughter because something's going on and I'm unable to go, or vice versa. But you just always think they're going to come home. So anyway, yes, he was a basketball legend, but more importantly, I just can't imagine what his wife feels like. Because, as I said, she lost her husband and she lost her daughter in the same day. Whew. Anyway, okay. So once you get the paper on the back, then you want to kind of trim up your edges so that when you're getting ready to do some embellishments, you don't end up with something that's missing some coffee stained paper. So I just kind of straighten up my edges. I don't take a lot off. I just take enough off to ensure that all my edges are straight and they're all smooth from the front. Look at how pretty this one is. Oh, okay. So after I do that, then what I need, let me clear my desk off here for a minute. Okay. Then what I need is a pencil and some tags that I can trace around. And you can kind of decide what you want your tags to look like, how big you want them to be, all of that good stuff. And so I have, and what I do is I just grab some tags and then I kind of decide what size I want them to be once I get going. And I use up every bit that I can. You can make tall and skinny tags. You can make short and stubby tags. You can do pretty much whatever you want. But you can see, I have a variety of sizes of tags. And so once you grab those tags and you kind of decide what you want, let's look at to see if I have anything else in here. I mean, we could do a huge tag if we wanted to. Okay, so let's kind of work with what we have. And so the next thing I do is I kind of look at my thing and I say, okay, how do I want this? And I want to use as much as I can up. So I want to make one big tag. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead. Hi, Vicki. How are you? Welcome, welcome. And I'm going to start tracing some tags. And I like this size. This is a size that I make quite often. These ones are about 3 inches wide, and they're about 5 inches tall. They fit in pockets really well. And then if you have a tag that, like, see, this one is too long, that's okay. All I really need is this top part. I need to know where this needs to be. Whoops. And now I'm going to get as many as I can across here. I'm glad you're doing well today. I'm glad you joined us. All right. And now, let's see here. I want to do a couple of little tags. I think those will be fun. All right. And I'm going to go all the way to this tag because we're going to make them a little bit longer than what I have here. Okay. So once I do that, then I will grab my scissors. Let's see, my desk is a mess, you guys. Oh my goodness. Where did you go, scissors? Does anybody have any big projects they're working on right now? Anything exciting? All right. Now, I use every piece I can. So I don't throw this piece away. And I'm going to show you what we can do with that piece in just a minute. So I'm strategically making sure that I can use these pieces. I can use as much as I can. I'm not wasting anything. So there's our first tag. It has that beautiful butterfly in the corner of it. Oh, you just finished the baby album. I hope you took pictures, Luann. There's our second tag. Oh, I can't wait to see them. There's our third tag. Sorry, I'm sure you guys can hear my dog. I guess they decide on Sunday nights they want to squeak toys for all of you. Okay, here we go. All right, so we're at 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go right across there because I want to keep that piece. 6. 7. And now we're going to take this and I'm going to make a page flag. Oh. Well, let's try that again. I didn't do a very good job with my little flag part. Okay, so now we have this cute little flag to go to the top. So I'm going to grab my glue. We're going to glue this baby together. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to ink it a little bit. Grab my ink pad. Oh, I'm glad you like it. You just finished an altered book for kid number 7, decorate my coffee bar for Valentine's Day, and painted birdhouses. Oh my goodness, you were busy today. Now I'm just going to take and add a little bit of ink around the edges. And it really gives it a little vintage flair. Now, before I glue it together, we're going to do a little bit of sewing. Now, if you don't have a sewing machine, you don't have to do this part. But if you do, this gives it a cute little touch. And sometimes I will sew these and other times I don't. It just depends. Just depends. Now, if you want to make sure you use a glue stick. Now you can see, I want to show you this. Let's see how it's coming up a little bit here on the edge? Now you want to glue that back down if you're not going to sew it. But the reason why it's doing that is because I just used a cheapo kids glue stick, washable glue stick. And when you add that wet glue to it, it starts to lift a little bit. If I'm going to not be sewing them, I want to make sure I'm using a permanent glue stick. And the ink I'm using today is tea dyed, so it's not real dark. If you know, normally I'm using Vintage Photo, but today I decided to just use some tea dye. I just want a very light patina on these. Yeah, Mitzi, you want to use everything up. You know, don't throw anything away. And especially that's why, you know, with napkins and things like that, it's nice to buy them when you can get them in a variety pack because, but then a lot of my ladies, I'll hear them say, well, I don't want to use it up because then I won't have the napkin left. Well, if you use every bit of that napkin and you're not throwing it away, then you don't feel so guilty. Okay, so now I'm going to do a quick sewing around here. And I'm going to just use a straight stitch this time. Sometimes I use zigzag, sometimes I use straight stitch. So I want to show you what it looks like if I just straight stitch around it. And excuse the noise. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. So this is another one to start using up the things you have in your stash and to be able to put it in your stash for something later. Isn't that pretty? And then I can take my hole punch and I can punch a hole in here. And then I can grab my hole reinforcers. And it's all ready to add your fiber to it. I'll go ahead and sew the next one. Oh my goodness, my dogs are going to drive me nuts. They have not played with their toys all day, but as soon as I get on, they're going to play with the toys. They get upset when no one pays attention to them. My husband has kind of had his eyes glued on the TV tonight. My daughter's working on homework, and then of course I shut my office door so that you guys can, hear the TV and all the stuff that's going on in the living room. Well, then they're mad because no one's paying attention to them. Hi, Patty, how are you? So I'm going to punch another hole. So this week, I will also be doing another tutorial on my Facebook channel, and that is going to be on Wednesday. So we have 2 so far, you guys. That's going to be on Wednesday. I'm going to go around these page flags real quick so that we can glue them together and have them ready. And that'll be at 8 p.m. So that's fun. So if you guys are bored on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, please join me because we have a great time on that channel too. And that one's usually more of a craft base. So I'm either painting something or actually making a craft. Sometimes it's a little, not as much of the paper-based stuff, but it's fun just for something different. And at some point this week, I'm going to be making a fairy garden for a friend, a fairy and gnome garden for her office, just to cheer her up. So I'm not sure which channel I'll put that on. But it's actually going to be a little mini garden. So hopefully some of you will join me for that. Is anybody going anyplace fun on vacation this season? My husband and I just decided we are going to go to Anna Maria Island. So we're going to be going there in, I think in March sometime. So we're excited about that because we've always wanted to go and we've just never gone. So he and I are going to go. It'll be the first time we've been on vacation together since our honeymoon by ourselves, so we're excited about that. And I should not have put the glue right there because I didn't need it. Goodness. All right, I'm great. La, 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 my pretties I purchased from you. All right, I'm making things with them. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad, Patty. Yeah. So has anybody ever been to Santa Maria Islands? Or Island? Because we would love to know if there's any, what to do, or um, I know it's kind of by Clearwater. So yeah, if you have anything we must do while we're there, please let us know. Okay, so there's one of the page tags. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch around these real quick. Punch my hole. All right, I think we just have 2 more. So we're about 40 minutes in. And granted, I did, we glued or we decopaged a few. I should have probably been paying attention as to what time I actually started once they were all decopaged. Because a lot of times what I'll do is decoupage the napkins on and just leave them so that when I'm ready to cut embellishments, I have them ready. So, and if I wasn't sewing around the edges of these, it wouldn't take as long. So like I said, they're just as pretty without. The sewing. And these make gorgeous gift tags. Like if you, for Mother's Day or something like that, you could decoupage these beautiful flowers onto paper and then just write a little note on the back of them. And those would be beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tags. How else might you use these embellishments, you guys? You might have some creative ways that you might want to use them that I'm not thinking of. Everybody's quiet tonight. All right, last one to stitch up. Okay. So the other thing you can do with your excess napkin Oh, you guys, were you yelling at me, telling me, Rachel, you have one more to do? Goodness, sorry about that. And if I would have been paying more attention, I probably would have flipped this one this way and I actually could still go like this and we could make something that doesn't look like a tag. Let me just kind of go around here. We can make it more of like a journal card. That way the butterfly is going the right way. Oh, but before I do that, I need to wind my bobbin. Of course, I would have to wind a bobbin on camera tonight. I'm sorry, you guys. Should have been a little more prepared here. I actually had a full bobbin, but my father-in-law came over today. He needed me to sew something on his pants, and so I said, "Well, I have my machine out because I'm going to be doing a video shortly, so bring them on over." And then after he did that, I decided to sew a couple more things, and then I didn't wind my bobbin. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make a little journaling card, and while we're waiting for that, I'm going to grab a glassine bag, and I'm going to grab some of this napkin. Let's see here. Let's see what napkin that was now. Well, this one is a little bit different. Let me go grab another one of those napkins because I want to embellish a little bag to match it. All right. This is a large dinner napkin. I have so much glue on my fingers. If you're struggling to get your napkin off, and normally I can pull all the pieces off, but my fingers are all full of glue, just take a piece of tape, pull. It will help you get it started. And then you can just peel off the second layer. All right. So I want this little corner right here with this flower and this butterfly for my bag. So I'm going to take this. Sorry for the noise. I got to drop my brush in here to keep it wet. And now I have to get it back out. You do want to take most of your water off of it when you do get it out. So I'm going to take one of these napkins and I'm going to just dry my brush. Going to get some of my Mod Podge. My bag over. And you do want to make sure the edges are down good with these glassine bags because they will peel up. So just make sure you get your edges down really well. So that little baggie matches what we just did. Set that to the side. And let me sew this last little tag, and then I'll show you this cute little embellishment kit that we just made. And you could send this embellishment kit to someone in Happy Mail. And I am absolutely sure they would love, love, love this. Now, I want to show you one more thing. Sorry for the noise again. Okay. That you can embellish with this napkin. So we're going to let this sit and dry. I'm going to bring this back, and I need to come back down. All right, so we went ahead and now this could be a pocket, this could be a tuck, or it could be a journaling card. Now, the only pieces we have left are these little pieces right here, which I could try to use those. I'm not going to. I'm just going to toss those. But this is it. This is all we had left from that large piece of paper. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Thanks for joining. Now, let me show you what we ended up with out of that piece of paper. So we have this piece. We ended up with 2 small tags, a medium tag. We would have had 2 medium tags, but I wanted to get that butterfly going the right way. So we have 3 mini tags. We have this little flag, this tag, and this gigantic tag. So we did pretty well out of that one piece of paper. Plus, then I was able to take and embellish this bag. And we would have had extra. You can see I used the extra from this actual napkin on another piece of paper because I wasn't thinking I wanted to do anything with that. Now, if you have these, a lot of you buy these inventory tags from me or from other sellers. These are great also to go ahead and do some collaging on. Just pulling this off here. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this little piece on here. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, Meg. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the same thing. Just going to get this Mod Podge on here. Homemade stuff. Put this down. And we have created our own beautiful embellishment kit. Now, I had somewhere on my desk an envelope because I wanted to show you. You can also do a little bit of Mod Podging on an envelope. Let me just grab one real quick here. Hi, Danny. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining. All right. I'm just going to grab an envelope. Oh. And I'm going to pick one. If I have one, it's kind of... Well, here is a tea stained one. So this one's really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it back together. And we'll do a little bit of inking on that. And then we'll go ahead and we will Mod or put some decoupage on this. So taking the same thing, just so it matches, go right around the edge. So you can really take one napkin and make quite a few embellishments. And sometimes I'll embellish the flap. Well, I actually should have done this side, but that's okay. Did it upside down. That's fine. Not going to fret about it. I'm going to take and add this right here. And we're going to make this beautiful envelope to go along with the rest of our set. And the thing I like about the medium that I make by myself is that it doesn't really leave all that shininess. And it's fine. You know, I don't like all that shininess that's left from the Mod Podge for this type of project. Now, other projects, I do like that. But for this project, I don't. So I'm just going to take and I'm going to ink up the edge here. And I could have done this before. In fact, I would recommend doing it before. There we go. So we just made a really cute set. And if I want to grunge up my glassine bag a little bit, I can. I can take it and put some ink on it so it's not so stark white. And that way it will kind of match. Letting go right along my edges. And with the glassine, you are going to have to let it dry. It will come right off on your hands right away. Okay, so this is what we ended up with. And we still would have lots of napkin left with one napkin. So we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces of beautiful ephemera. Oh, good. I hope you do pull them out. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Please, please, please pull out your napkins. If you would like one of my botanical napkin packs, just send me a message, either via Facebook or via my Etsy channel. I'm sorry, my Etsy store, or you're welcome to email me and I can get you a price on that and get those shipped out to you right away. But get those napkins out, start playing, and start making these gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous little embellishment kits that you can use in your journals, in your crafting. These would make adorable little Mother's Day gifts, little Mother's Day tags. These are cute because they're multiple tuck spots and you can just wrap up this is still a little wet, but I would just take this and I would wrap this up just like this to send it to somebody with a little bit of twine, and you have a cute little gift for your friend. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful week.